No, but that's when it like really clicked to me though. And then I was like, now so basically I started, even if you don't do a Facebook ad, like a YouTube video, hey, somebody might want more information for you. So you have the links in there, right? So a lot of times I give away stuff for free.
So what we're saying is through the funnel, we need to give them something worth of value.
Yeah.
So that it's a small purchase.
Yeah.
So small commitment leads to bigger commitment.
Exactly.
Right? It goes on and then you offer them, like you said, a profit maximizer, whatever the back end, we call the back end marketing products that you might have. So what about on the front end? How do you build those followers and just more exposure, more fans?
Man, it really changes all the time. Like the algorithm is a little different, you know. So actually my views have went down over the years because the way I built my following initially doesn't work as well anymore. I was using search engine optimization, very heavy.
SEO, yeah, search engine.
And that worked really well.
Yeah.
Up until maybe a few years ago, right?
So what we're saying is the strategies might change.
Strategies definitely
So
change.
what works this year might not work next year when it comes to social media. You gotta be on top of your game, right?
But the principles still hold, right?
Yes.
So the strategies change, but the principles hold, right? So like the principles are like, I mean, you want to give value on social media.
I do want to ask you this, because I think part of when I look at your content, when I study your content, that I think a lot of that it's based on your character, right? So you're very charismatic, right? You're interesting, entertaining. So I think that helps being like you're very video driven. And the second thing is I can see your content, because there are a lot of fitness content out there on the marketplace, but you make it entertaining.
Yeah.
Right? You think outside the box and make it interesting, and also you almost make it a little bit more raw, like not as polished on purpose. I think that's also part of your brand. So how does that play into the whole thing?
Well, for me, it's like I think you got to think with the end game in mind, right? Like what's the main goal? All right, to build your business, right? So you got to make content that a customer will want, right? You know, so for example, there's a lot of guys who do in the fitness, there's guys who like make videos and they talk shit about other fitness. That's like a thing. And their channels will blow up real quick. But those guys, there's one of them who lives in your country, right? He's very poor, right? Like he's poor. I know that because a friend of mine sent him a cease and desist. And he found out he still lives with his mom, even though he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he found out a lot about him, you know? And that's kind of sad, right? Because it's like, if you get millions of views, you should be able to monetize it if you know what you're doing. The problem is, talking shit about someone, it doesn't solve a problem, right? So I say that to say, your content should solve problems for people. It should help them, right? And then some of those people are gonna want more help, and that's when they go through the funnel. You know what I'm saying? That's when they go through they'll want more, and that's then they have something they can download or something you can purchase. You know,
Makes
like
sense.
so I think with that in mind.
How come I don't know why? It just the image comes to the.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's like a stripper talking shit about other strippers. Like she's no good.
Yeah.
Her dance is no good. It doesn't help you closing the sales, make more money.
Yeah.
You need to solve a problem, right?
Yeah. You can go up to other guys and say, "Oh, this girl.
So what?
This girl can't twerk.
Yeah.
Look at her. She can't twerk to save her life.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to. You got to be able to twerk something.
You got to deliver the goods.
Yeah. No, for real.
Yeah.
And this is or some guys will just be all entertaining.
Yeah.
Right. But you don't trust.
So they get attention.
Yeah.
But you look at them more. I hate to say it's more like a clown. Right?
Yeah, like a clown.
Yeah.
It's because you know, I'm not taking financial advice from like
Someone who's
Flavor Flav or like like Bozo or something like that. Like I want someone serious, someone who, you know. But the entertainment part is just kind of just my personality, right?
You like to have fun. You joke, joke around.
I like to have fun, and But also, I think there's something to that. I mean, if it's too dry, then you're like a math teacher or something.
Yeah, like a professor. You're lecturing people, right? And I think people go to YouTube, they want some kind of entertainment. Most people.
They want value too.
Value.
But you do the same thing. Like I see like the videos, like you could just talk about the stuff you talk about, but then, you go to locations. There's music. None of that has to be there, but it has to be there for it to be entertaining.
I use the term edutainment.
Edutainment.
It's basically what we do. It's educational, but it has to be entertaining at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I believe you cannot create change and impact if you're not getting attention. But if you just get attention, that's not good either.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of both.
Exactly. For like, it's almost, sometimes it's like, if you do something that's clickbaity or whatever, I look at it like, I'm not religious, but this is a good metaphor. Like it's like a Bible with a Playboy cover, right? Like they might come in for like some silly, right? But then they get value. It's like, oh, okay, this is what I needed, right? You give them what they want sometimes, but then you bring them in by giving them what they want. But once you get them in, you give them what they need, what will really help them.
I agree.
Yeah.
So you use kind of something entertaining, at least you have the attention.
Yeah.
Then you can share with them what you believe in, your message, right?
Yeah, and if you can weave it in, so it's like it's almost like they learned, but they enjoyed learning. They enjoyed learning. Who doesn't like that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when a kid is watching a cartoon that teaches. It might not be the best example, but you know what I mean.
But so out of all the platforms right now, what do you focus on the most?
There's a lot of interesting things going on Facebook, especially like Messenger. Like this Messenger, we've been doing a lot with like Facebook Messenger. It's almost a platform within a platform, right? We've been building it, and it's like a lot of things we've done that I think are kind of groundbreaking with that. And then I'm gonna have to go Facebook, like Facebook 100%. Yeah, YouTube is I really like YouTube, and it's my first love. It's just, YouTube, there's a standard, right? So like I can only do so many videos a week, right? But I can literally can't put enough on Facebook, right? And it can be like a 1 minute video, and that might do the best. But like a 1 minute video on YouTube, I haven't had.
Are you talking like Facebook Live or just
Facebook?
Just Facebook.
Yeah. Like just like I can have a minute video on Facebook, and it'll do like really well, and people will.
And I
love
think
it.
in some way with Facebook, that it's also easier to share for people.
Yeah,
it's easier to go viral. Of course, YouTube you can have a viral video as well.
Yeah.
But I find that because of the way that the platform is on Facebook, that you could have a video that you may not think is a viral video, even a lower quality, lower production quality value, but it could still go viral. You could have millions and millions of views.
Bro, I had a video that I didn't even like it. It was a workout video. It was just 4 minutes long, no edits, just the phone, done with my iPhone. And I didn't even want to post it, but I was like,
what the hell?
I posted it on Saturday morning before I went to work out, and I thought, all right, no one will see it. And then after I'm done working out, I like something strange is happening. Like you can feel it when a video goes viral, when something goes viral. I know you had some viral stuff. Like you feel it, like something's happening.
Something's
happening.
Yeah.
Like you feel it's something you can't explain unless you've had something go viral.
Yeah.
And I looked, and that video had like 1 million views in like a few hours. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And and I wouldn't have expected that. I couldn't replicate that, right? And that video went on to get.
The same video, if you post on YouTube, would not have.
I posted it, and it didn't. It did the same thing,
but
it ended up getting 70 million views.
Wow.
Like that year, right? It has more now, but they. So here's the thing, like the advantage of YouTube is it's more conducive to long form content.
Yeah.
Right. Like this video, it would show up on YouTube. I mean, let's say it was on Facebook. It'd be in a feed, right? So it's like it's competing with shit, it's.
But YouTube people are going there, they're looking,
They click that, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like it's less distraction, less shit going on. It's not something right up underneath it. It's like it's more conducive to long form content, and this video will get views forever, where that video, I don't know if it got over 70 million views, right? Because they have a lifespan on Facebook. I don't know what, I guess they go and die somewhere, but it's not search engine based. Where this is like, like if we had the right, and YouTube is less and less search engine based now, but it'll still come up in recommended videos. It'll still come up
suggested. Yeah,
and you know, and some search stuff too, right? But it'll get it'll get love and it'll do well forever, right? So this is definitely pluses and minuses. I still do both, and I love both, but for different reasons, you know.
So Facebook, but YouTube, it still depends on the purpose, depends on the content, what you want to do.
Yeah.
The way I see it, at least, is YouTube is 24/7.
Yeah.
It's more long term.
Definitely. 100%.
It's more long term. It's a very important foundation.
Yeah.
And it's also a place where people can consume content at their own pace. Facebook, it's more interruption.
Yeah.
It's more, hey, check this out. Could be short, where you get your brand out there, and you can also scale, obviously, very quickly with paid traffic. Instagram now, of course, Instagram stories and all of that.
Facebook is better. I mean, YouTube is more important. Now, when I think about it, I think you're right. I have a marketing agency. Another business I have now is a marketing agency, right? And what we do is we'll take influencers and we'll do their whole business, right? Like, so there's some people know, like, but they'll come out. He's coming out with a program, or something like. Me and my team, we did all of that.
I almost think, let's say, if this is my own personal preference, my perspective is, I think people know how difficult YouTube is.
Yeah.
They know that you cannot just spend money and buy those engagements and views. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when anyone that you meet, an influencer who has 100,000, 500,000, million subscribers on YouTube, you're like, man, respect. Because people know, like, man, that's
what
tough,
I was saying,
right? Facebook, you can spend money.
You can spend money,
you can get there.
But it's also the fans. They're just not as engaged, right? Like, it's not like a YouTube subscriber is worth more than a Facebook fan and an Instagram fan, or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
With my marketing agency, like, when we won't take on an influencer to work with their stuff, because we do like 50-50 splits with them, unless they have at least 100,000 subscribers. And we've just seen it. The fans don't care much. It's like, they don't make as much money.
Yeah.
Right, they don't make as much money
because they haven't consumed as much content. But always I have a rule of, like, the law of a consumption, right? Meaning, for every $1,000 you want people to spend with you, they need to consume at least 1 hour of your content. Okay, that's the way I see it. So it doesn't matter if it's 1 hour or if it's like 5 minutes here and 6 minutes there. So if you think of it from that general rule of thumb, if I watch on Facebook, watch on Instagram, I've watched 8 minutes of your content, it's far from being hitting an hour, right?
Well, if that holds true, what's very powerful, I think you can do this on YouTube too, actually, with YouTube advertising. Right. But Facebook, like, you can target people who, like, let's say this video is on, you can target people who've watched an hour of a video.
Yes, you can.
Only. So would that sound like it'd be an effective strategy?
Yeah, because you think about the people who spend, let's say, tens of thousands of dollars with you. I bet most of them, they didn't just watch a 5-minute thing.
Fuck no.
They have watched hours and hours of your content, right?
And most of them, like, they bought something cheaper before they went and bought the other thing.
There you go, right?
Hence the strip club analogy.
So that's the way I believe the consumption theory, where you want your potential clients, prospects, to consume your content. And maybe you bring them into Facebook, but maybe then you give them more YouTube through, like, YouTube content to build that trust. But I think you need to consider that law of assumption.
No, that's real, man. Like, for example, I used to, like, before I met you, I would see you all the time, like, different events, like, you know, with some of them in the same circle. And then some of my friends, Jeremy, the guy who does some Facebook stuff with you, Vince Del Monte, and Jason Capital, he spoke really highly of you. And I think I started listening to your podcast too a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? All right. But yeah, now when I think about it, like, really when I started, and then watching the YouTube
videos,
and then it's like, oh, and that's when I was like, oh, I fuck with this guy.
Yeah.
Right. Even all those endorsements were good, but it was like, so no, I can see my own, like,
path.
Even though I'm not like a customer, right? But not a traditional like kind of customer,
Yeah.
but like the
Yeah,
customer,
the custom path.
what the customer journey would look like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I see that now. Maybe somebody said, hey, this guy, and they check out some stuff, and then they start, oh, okay.
So it's a
then they're
consumption
on it.
theory, right? So then, to me, if you don't have a lot of content on YouTube, example for people to consume, how are they going to build that trust? If let's say I have 5 million fans on Facebook, that's cool, but I have only 2 YouTube videos of, you know what I mean? And also, I believe people now bounce back and forth from different
They
platforms.
do.
So they might see on Facebook, they see on LinkedIn, but type in your name. If they go to YouTube, okay, you only have like 500 subscribers.
Yeah.
Something is
Social, it's
a
that
social proof.
It's nothing else. It's
Yeah,
nothing else.
It's not doesn't mean you're no good, but from their perspective, it's the human psychology, right? If I have never heard of you, you cannot be good.
Yeah.
But if I see you have a lot of social proof, social following, you must be good.
Yeah,
Because other people say you're good.
Yeah, that's why we read reviews on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
It's like
It's the same idea.
and also like, yeah, you're right about that thing. You can't really fake YouTube, you know, like
No,
you
no.
can't. You're not smarter than
No.
Eric Schmidt and them boys.
And,
man. Like,
and
you
look,
can't-
now in the fitness industry, which you have more YouTubers,
Yeah.
but you talk about in the business category,
yeah,
you think about anyone who has a substantial YouTube channel
in business.
in business,
Yeah.
you can count them with one hand.
Oh yeah, because they're all aside.
You can probably count them with one hand.
Bro, aside from you, maybe Ty, Andy Frisella, everyone else is boring as fuck, right? Gary Vee being
yep.
entertaining, you know what I'm saying?
Grant,
Grant, oh yeah, definitely Grant.
yeah, right.
Grant.
So, but you're talking about 4 or 5
Yeah, yeah,
top
it's-
influencers.
Ah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So then, in my mind, it's, at least it's my perspective, why I spend time and effort growing the channel. That I know if I can hit that 1 million subscribers, 2 million subscribers, you're the top 3 in the world.
Your consumption theory
yeah.
is it's spot on when I think about it, right? Because I always thought that a YouTube customer was more valuable, right? And it makes sense. Why? Because they spend more time with you. They just spend more time with you.
It's more intimate. They know
Yeah.
your stories. They know it's a relationship, right? They invest, the more they invest time consuming your content, the more time you build a relationship. And also makes them better clients.
Yeah.
It makes them better customers.
All my employees, they interned with me for 90 days first,
Yeah.
right? And they all came from YouTube.
Yeah,
It was
all
they
came
weren't.
from
They, I
videos.
mean, they probably follow me on this stuff, but they reference YouTube, right? Not Facebook.
I'll
or
give you
Instagram.
one tip before we go. It's just interesting, because when I made the decision, you've been doing YouTube way longer than I have. I've been doing YouTube probably 2.5 years.
Yeah, you're crushing it though.
You know, thank you. And I've written 13 books. I've done hundreds of speaking engagements.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of blog posts, interview, and all that podcasts. I haven't had anyone walk up to me and say, "Hey man, I read your blog post," or I even listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
It never has happened. I read your
Really?
book, not even, but I have had so many incidents. This is before my channel blew up, where they walk up to me and say, "Hey Dan, I watched your video."
Wow.
And I've had that happen, could be like a couple times in a day.
Yeah.
I've had people, I was eating in a restaurant, people walk up to me and say, "Dan, I watched your video. Can I buy you this dinner?" Like that kind of thing. And I click for me. And,
Yeah, that
and
makes
that's,
sense.
That's when I had about maybe tens of thousands of subscribers, not even 100,000. In my mind, I thought, what if I have that times 100? What would that look like? That's why I do the videos.
No,
Because
it's real.
because
It's real.
influence.
It's real. And it's always YouTube for me almost. It's starting to become, people recognize me from Facebook, which is weird. It's even weird to hear it come out of the mouth.
No, what's your Facebook?
But the size.
Yeah.
Maybe the size is some of that. But now it's starting at Instagram too. Oh, I know you from Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's strange. So maybe the other platforms are becoming better, but I don't think it's fucking close though.
It's not even close.
It's not close.
even
You're definitely right, and I think it has to do with that consumption theory. That's
consumption.
That's
It's
very.
consumption. So you want to
insightful.
have a lot of videos for them. That's why I do a daily video. We have now close to almost 1,000 videos now. It's a lot.
Yo. So here, that's what I think. I think volume on YouTube is like just one route. Like I know somebody else who has my boy Connor Murphy. Like we do all his business stuff, but he has like I don't know 20 videos,
Yes,
right?
but they all like went viral.
Right. But so like if you're not gonna go viral, right? If you're not, he's one of the best to ever do YouTube,
Viral.
right? I think at least fitness YouTube statistically, there's no one who's been better than him, right? If you're not like that, right, then I think volume is like a really good, like it's rare to find someone with, 500 to it.
Well, that's like hitting home run, right?
Yeah.
To me, like I much prefer. I may not hit the home run, but I'm just gonna keep hitting single, man.
Keep hitting singles, man.
Keep hitting singles.
You can
man.
hit a single every day, right?
Yeah.
But you swing for the fence every time. You can
I
throw
don't
a
do that.
Hail Mary every play. Nah, man, maybe you just get some yards, Like it's, and then those videos, man, all those videos, even if it doesn't do well, it's still gonna get some engagement and some, like forever.
Forever, yeah.
Right? So like,
And they might take off suddenly a year later. You don't know, right? That happens too.
So anyone who wants to start a YouTube page, like YouTube page, channel, whatever it's called now, did you notice this? I feel like at 100 videos, that's when you start to notice the momentum.
100%.
Yeah.
So I noticed two trends.
Yeah.
It's your first 10K subscribers.
Yeah.
This is the most difficult, 0 to 10K.
Yeah.
And then your first 100 videos.
Yeah.
Now this is a speculation. I'm just guessing, thinking how YouTube would think is when you have crossed the 100 videos. I think YouTube is like, okay, you're serious. Like from my perspective, if I'm the AI, you're a serious content creator. Maybe I'm gonna give you a little bit more love. You're not some fly by night. You're not trying to make a few videos. You're pretty consistent. And I think part of my growth is when I can demonstrate that I am a good,
They like
solid
consistency.
I'm prolific, that I haven't missed a single day. Then they can see, okay, and people are liking it, they've engaged more. It's this snowball effect.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, let me give you some more YouTube love. That's just
100%.
my theory.
Oh, I never thought about it like that. I thought that it was just like, because when I make a video, I really do like try to think about, what if no one knew me before and they see this video?
Yeah.
Right. So like, I think of it as like a tentacle. They can reach out and
Yes,
grab
it's
some
just- it's
people,
one thing, yeah.
Right. So like so once you have 100 of these tentacles grabbing people forever.
Yeah.
It's like the momentum of that.
Yeah.
Like that's how I thought about it, but it may be that too. But it's definitely what I'm saying as well. But it may be that as well. It's because it's definitely just the more tentacles you have.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
I think
yeah.
from my perspective, in terms of business,
Yeah.
because product and services, they're all commodities.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you're selling supplement, how many supplements out there they can choose from? If you're selling coaching service, how many coaching service people can choose from? Anything that you sell, unless you have something like super proprietary, but chances are 99% of people, you're watching this, whatever you're selling, somebody else out there selling something
You're
similar.
not the fucking Wright
Yeah,
brothers.
Yeah, it's like, right? So it's not that you have an invention. So then to me, and this is profound, you are not selling products and services. For most people, you're selling trust. If you're selling trust, think about it, listen to me. If you're selling trust, if you think of someone's channel, put aside the social media followings. If you've been in business longer, there's more trust. If you're more consistent, if you only have like 3-5 videos, or you've been trying to do this like kind of like ups and downs, you release whenever you feel like it, it's less trust, less trustworthy. But if I see you being consistent in terms of content producing, chances are, as a consumer, you're probably pretty consistent in your fulfillment and delivery too.
Like subconsciously they
Yeah,
think
because I can see you, like you said, you're making small promises. You're delivering a video every single day for 2 years. You've been around and you deliver good value. And I can see your improvement. Then chances are whatever product you're selling, I would believe that's the same. Because that's how you operate. That's how I see it, right? And then I think that's why Gary Vee gets so much respect from people.
daily vlog. Yeah.
It's daily, and you can see he's running around, he's doing a lot of different things.
He's doing shit too, yeah.
But no matter how busy he is, as a social media influencer, he is prolific and he's fucking consistent. You know he's always putting stuff out there. And that earns respect. Because you can see he's not doing it for 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years. He's doing it for many, many years. Now that's respect.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a lot of respect. That's the way I see it.
That's deep. No, that's deep. I didn't think about it like that.
So versus if I want to buy a supplement, do I want to buy from a guy who has his YouTube channel for a year and a half, has 5 videos, or do I want to buy from someone who has maybe same followers, but he has 500 videos and they're good.
Different topics.
Yeah,
like he's an expert. He's
adding value,
he's an expert,
and he's prolific and he's consistent. You know what? I'll buy from this person.
Yeah.
That's the way that I see it.
And then, if nothing else, that person's demonstrated a level of expertise. Yeah.
He has enough thing to say to create 500 videos.
Yeah,
right?
you can't bullshit 500 videos.
No, so I'm not, in my mind, I can tell you my number, Brandon, is 10,000 videos. I'm not thinking 100, but when I hit 100, people, oh, you have 100 videos. My mind is 10,000 videos. Because 10,000 videos living in the cyberspace, that is, just think about
No,
that.
that's now. Do you have a criteria for your videos? Because I know you like my favorite video of yours is only 1:30. But like I don't see like I've had no luck with those short videos, and I tried it for a little while.
Yes.
Is there a criteria for how long a short?
We are testing every kind, every kind, and that's why the video that you see today is very different from 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That's my business philosophy, where I'm always think that my primary driving question is how can I make it better. So you will not see me doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm testing, pushing, coming up with ideas all the time. That's just the way I run my business. So you will not see me. That's why I'm on the front, on the cutting edge. I'm testing things. I'm running things. I'm always experimenting. So I just test a collaboration. This is a collaboration. I'm testing something maybe a little bit more entertaining. I'm testing a little bit something more maybe like a skit based.
I see it. Like because I saw the Louis Vuitton video. Unboxing shit. Yeah,
I'm
like
testing.
lifestyle, and
I'm testing.
And I can see some of that stuff. He's got Louis Vuitton right now. He's showing his lifestyle, right? Okay.
Also a lesson behind it.
Yeah.
So I'm testing all the time. So I don't think of. Here's the way I see it. Whatever I've built so far or yesterday doesn't mean shit. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean today I've got 300-some-odd-thousand followers. I don't care if I have millions of followers. I don't care if it's Instagram. It doesn't matter. What I've built, that's the past. I look at what's next.
So is your goal? So like, you flipped it. So your goal is, you feel like if you wanted 1 million, right? I heard you say that earlier. You think 10,000 videos gets you 1 million.
I don't think about that. I'm just saying in my content creation, my mind is not set. Oh, I'm gonna make X amount. My mind is set in. I'm gonna have 10,000 videos. I want to have
I think that's a better. Like the reason I ask, because I think that's a better goal for someone to have than to focus on the subscribers, because you can't control subscribers as much as you can control like your own effort. Yeah.
Effort. But the way I see it is, I don't want to. It's not being competitive, okay? But I don't want to win by little in the business. I don't want to have I'm like my competitors here and I'm here. I want to do it in a way that when people look at my stuff, they're just like, I give up. I don't even want to compete.
I don't want to compete with this.
How the fuck do I compete?
Yeah, run the score up.
When people look at it, you've got fucking 10,000 videos, you've got 10 million subscribers, you've got this. How the fuck am I going to compete with that? I want that.
Yeah.
I want the effort to. It's like Michael Jordan. You play basketball with Michael Jordan. I don't fucking even bother. I don't want to play. I don't even want him to think I'm gonna try. Don't even bother fucking trying.
I posted something like that on my Instagram the other day, because there's a lot of guys who I can tell some of the stuff they're doing and saying, they think they're competing with me.
Yeah. And
it's like, no, dumbass.
No.
Like the shit you see me doing is not it's a step. It's like my goals are like so much bigger than yours. Like I'm competing with Cornelius Vanderbilt, you know what I'm saying, or I'm competing with John Rockefeller, you know what I'm saying. I'm with Conrad Hilton. Like I'm on some neck. I'm thinking like that, right? And so you see me doing this now or doing this bro, You're not competing with me. Even if you beat me to that point, like I'm going like
Growing.
Like yeah, it's like
But people, sometimes on social media, unfortunately, the idiots, they judge you by watching one video.
One thing, yeah.
One video. Oh, this is what you're about. I don't think this is fucking right. Or
Yeah.
it's all the fucking losers, right?
you have no fucking
Well,
clue.
I always say
you have no fucking clue
You
what
love
I'm
this.
thinking.
I have a saying. How would a frog in a well conceive the vastness of the ocean?
Yeah.
I think we'll leave it at that. Make sure you subscribe to Brandon's channel. Click the link below and check out his social media as well.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.